know what it was like to see kids that we have been teaching since they were 3.5 and now into adulthood become some of the most successful teenagers, kids, and young adults that are in Hollywood today. It is a real testament to the complete martial artist concept. All the things that was written in that book, how it really manifested to make an impact on so many people. In the studio, the Better Attitude Makers Leadership Academy prides itself on developing leaders from the inside out. And that is an incredible testament when we just sit back and we look at the success of so many of our students. It's always been my goal since I was incarcerated, and I asked God to give me another chance in 1989 to come home and really become an example for so many kids, just to make sure that they would never have to go down a path and experience the things I had to experience as a young kid, as well as just being a support system, because I know how hard it was when people were working against me. So many bad things were happening. There were no blueprint. There was no path for me. You know, the path that I treaded, I had to create myself out of necessity, survival. You know, I just grabbed whatever I can possibly grab, flip the script, do the best that I can possibly do, and just begin to make progress every step of the way. And to be able to see that path now be the blueprint to being a leader who truly developed independent leaders from the inside out, once again, is a true testament of what we represent and what we stand for and what we teach. You know, also to be able to give them positive reinforcement and tough love, those were things that people gave me. It took me a long time to find out. You know, honestly, I can say that people were dropping little seeds. People were doing little things to push me forward. I'm not angry or mad at any of the people that probably put me down, counted me out, were haters, set bad examples, because I know they just did the best they can possibly do with what they had. So it was my job, once I got to the other side of this, to be in a different position and be a leader today, to make sure that, you know, I stand on the shoulders of their goods, their bads, and their indifferences, and tell them I thank you. I thank you for the hard times. I thank you for the challenges. I thank you for all the bad as well as all the good, because that's what made me who I am. That is what yin and the yang is all about. Making it all work, and making it work for the betterment of humanity as a whole.
Shut that real fast and stop. Shut that real fast and stop. Shut that real fast and drop. Shut that real fast and drop. On the floor wide open. Eat so much they call up in the ocean. Like an 18-wheeler. Fine with this yellow leaking. Soaking wet. Soaking wet.
Cut! Niggas cut. Who the hell said cut?
Yeah, who the hell said cut? The director says cut. Damn.
Look, Mayshawn, I already know, dog. You want this?
Come here. Is that the yin expensive there?
I thought that my influence would reach that level. You know, seeing kids in films, seeing that level. I mean, my goal was just to like make sure I can be a teacher. You know, that's how I can dream that big. You know, we just wanted to teach and keep you off the corner, keep you out of trouble, get good grades in school. You know, just the basic things. I'm not even going to sit here and say that I had a dream to see kids, I mean, making movies, starring in TV shows, MTV Punks, you know, movies like The Beast, starring, you know, as the leads in, you know, Jurassic Park Live, Emmy Award winners from the Ellen DeGeneres Show, Proud Murray, Fast and the Furious, Soul Plane, you know, seeing all these people do these things side by side with other, you know, major people that I look up to. No, I never thought that. No, I'm not even going to sit here and lie and say that, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. No, what I did know that was going to happen, and I felt it in my soul and in my spirit and in my calling. That's my why, was to truly make sure I helped them to develop that true leadership from within, making sure that they have the strength, the independency to be able to know how to stand up for themselves, give their very best, rely on God's strength, and make sure that if anybody come in their way, like people that came in my way, they have the courage to disconnect and keep on going, and don't spend so much time trying to convince people to love them, support them, guide them like I did, because I believe I wasted a lot of time trying to convince people to support me. Even to this day, you can still get caught up into that. And I can honestly admit, you know, I had to learn how to check my ego, because a lot of times when I got to that level where independent things were about ready to happen, or they could have happened, people didn't support me. People didn't give me a chance to do it on my own. And I could say today I'm glad that a lot of those things didn't happen, because I wasn't ready. You know, honestly, I can say that. And I'm not going to say they knew best for me. I think they were just insecure people. They were people that came up in a generation where, you know, they had to get all they could get and cut whoever throat they had to cut. I don't think they had a game plan on what they would do when their students or their children or the people they taught came up to a level that was equal to them or was about ready to surpass them. They just didn't prepare for that. They were doing the same thing like I did. So they did their very best. They got to that level, and they influenced people like me. And when I got to that level and I was, you know, asking them for help, saying I wanted to be in the movies and saying I wanted to be in TV, I believe a lot of times when I was saying that to a lot of people that were around me, they didn't believe it. They thought I was just talking, you know, because that's how it was coming up during that era. When you said something, you said it, and people sometimes said, "Oh man, will you shut up?" I mean, they did say that. You know, shut up. You ain't gonna never meet that person. You ain't gonna never be that way. And people used to tell me that about pictures on my wall. You know, man, take them pictures off the wall. You ain't gonna never meet them people. You ain't gonna never be on TV. Grow your ass up. Get a real job. I'm sorry for using that language. I mean, even family members, that's what they said. Go get a real job. That ain't gonna never amount to nothing. You know, and, you know, when I ask people to help me, you know, get into Hollywood or to get me to karate school so I can be able to, you know, use it to help me, you know, keep going even when we had our indifferences. Could you help me go forward? You know, or if I left, could I go on and, you know, do my own thing and still have your support? None of that happened. Egotistical, ignorant people they could be, but it made me strong. I come from the street, man. You know what I'm saying? What you going to do to, like, hurt me? The only thing that can hurt me is me. But there was no support. I mean, if I could tell you some of the stories, the nasty phone calls, when, you know, when I went on my own, opened up my school, and I'm a single dad, didn't get paycheck, didn't get money. You know, people did cruddy, I mean, nasty things. Even when I came home from jail, how I went to people for help, and they were telling the whole world what was going on. Even when I knew I was coming home from jail, I knew that people were out talking and saying bad things about me. They weren't saying anything to empower me and uplift me. So I had to take my negatives and I had to tell my story. I had to use it as a stepping stone to come to you and tell you my truth. I wasn't going to allow you to have that power to crush my spirit and my ability to go forward. For some reason, when I was locked up, is walk out and stand strong with my story in my hand and in my heart and my soul, and tell it before anybody, and tell it with truth, and tell everything about me with truth, and just let the world know this is what happened, but this is where I'm at now. And it helped. You know, it gave me strength. It gave me ability to be able to stand up now and represent that truth, my true life. And I mean, I wouldn't have it no other way. But I ain't going to tell you that people, when I got on TV, that people was like pushing me and hoping that I go. When I became #1, you know, in sports karate, like people were helping me. All the articles that I was writing, wasn't nobody writing those articles for me. Wasn't nobody helping me. You know, people was doing whatever they can do to stop me and block me. But, you know, I was a kid in the projects since I was 6 years old. I've been calling Hong Kong and China and doing whatever it took to be able to live a dream or something that was inside my soul. So wasn't nobody going to stop me from doing that, man. I done had rejection letters from P. Diddy's company, Bad Boy Production, Black Belt Magazine, I mean, seasonal films. I mean, I done had, you know, so many rejection letters. YMMA Publishing Company that did the complete martial artists. I didn't have rejections all my life. So all rejections do is pump me up, give me more strength, and keep on pushing forward. So because those things happen around me, and I seen those things happen, and I seen those things, I experienced them even when I was competing my greatest year in the world of sports karate. When, I mean, man, I say, and I'll say it right now, I should have been #1 in everything. You know, it was my year, it was my time, and that was my second time coming back. I'm not saying, I mean, I was there before I got locked up, but after getting locked up, to come back and be #1 in forms and weapons, make history by being the first Kung Fu Wushu stylist rated in all those divisions. I mean, man, I was going to tournaments. I should have won grand championships all the time. That the judging panel was stacked. I know that I had left my instructor and nobody wasn't trying to help me. They weren't going to let me win. It was all set up. You know, I left my instructor. That's how I went. I wasn't on his side, so they wouldn't let me win. You know, they let some new guy win instead of me winning. I don't know why you would do that, but that's what they did. You know, there's a lot of tournaments I should have won grand championship, you know. There was tournaments I got 3-way tie. Ain't no way I should have won the last place when I did all my second and third best forms to get into a 2-way tie. So when everybody else did their best forms, when it was time for me to go for the third time, I did my first best form, and guess what? I lost. I don't know how that happened, but hey, even when I went to Germany, certain things happened where I should have came back with two gold medals, and I should have been invited to the Budagawa and all those things. I mean, a lot of things that happened, Debbie. You know, it's just that's just the way it is. But you use it, you stand proud, you keep on pushing. You know, and in the end, you stand with integrity, and you know that you don't represent revenge or anything. You're not mad at anybody. You just keep on pushing. I mean, I can tell you when I was doing forms and weapons, I would mix hip hop music with all type of Beethoven and different types of music because I just knew that I wanted to get the judges' attention, but I still wanted to represent myself. So I remember people came up to me and said, "Hey, Bam, tell me what they saying up there." They said, "Here come that black music. Here come in with that black music." That's before anybody was using any hip hop music. You know, when I was flipping, nobody was flipping. I came out flipping, doing backflip, front summy, you know what I'm saying, butterfly, twists, round off, handspring, summy. I was being cheated like I was like a piece of trash, man. But hey, I'm not angry. I'm glad I went down that path. And all I want to do is, you know, continue to push forward. And because of those things, a little lost too. So when my students started getting, I didn't know how to open up. I didn't know how to, even my own son, I didn't know how to pass the torch to them. That's something that I had to work on as a man because I came up around men who just didn't do that. They would criticize you, hold you down. I mean, and still to this day, you see it. They cannot allow their kids to be better than them or their students to be better than them or raise them up and hold them up high to celebrate them. I had to work on that. You know, and I think the real conscious moment when I began to consciously work on it was when my son wanted to become a world champion, my son Marco. And I realized when I was going to tournaments, people were saying my name and celebrating me, and I would look in his eyes and see, like, hold up, man, I don't want to compete no more, but I'm taking all attention from him. So even in his school, so I had to purposely make myself step back, accept that now my students were like shining. I had to accept now seeing Ryan Pinkston on TV shows and in the movies and, you know, all those things. I had to accept that my students were there. Sad thing about it, you know, I even experienced with my students, even in the martial arts world, rather than people holding me up and saying, "Yo, Bam came from jail with nothing. He taught these kids since they were like young, no other instructor. And look at what these kids have become. Bam School, his principles, his concepts, they give tremendous results on people's investment. Look at what it developed for these kids. Look at his example, what it did for these kids." Instead, they took all the credit. They said they did it. They said their circuit did it. I sat there and watched it, man. I sat there and been at places where people were just like, "Hey, let's call up Ryan Pinkston and, you know, celebrate Ryan. He's one of ours." You know, can you imagine the hurt? You know, but I learned to, you know, continue to push through. Even with my own son, people did that, you know. You know, they don't need to be with your dad, you know, be on your own. So, but what I had to learn how to do as a man, not to repeat that cycle. So today, I celebrate my students' success. You know, I celebrate their accomplishments. I'm so proud of what they have become. From Marco to Naila to Ryan Pinkston to Ern Pinkston to Daniel, Messiah, Zarian. You know, it's everybody's name in this, but it's just a whole list of people who came up right through the complete martial artist concepts, the Better Attitude Makers Academy, when they were little kids, just like me, believing in something, and the environment supported them and gave them a vision, a dream I didn't have. Our organization was able to give to them, me and my wife, and and I'm glad that they were able to succeed and take it to a level far beyond me, especially with Hollywood. I gave up my Hollywood dream. When WMAC Masters and Pat Johnson told me to move to Hollywood, and bam, you're hot right now. I remember seeing all my friends on the covers of magazines, people that I introduced to Black Belt Magazine. They were now getting more recognition than what I was getting, but I made a choice. Always made a choice to make sure I maintained a martial arts school before anybody else was thinking about it during my generation. I maintained that school. I built that school up because I knew I wanted to take care of my kids. I didn't want my kids to be running all around and me being irresponsible, so I made a choice not to go. I stayed at my school, built my school up, raised my kids, seen them finish school, seen them become men and women, got married. If I had left, I wouldn't have met my great wife, and we just built a nice family organization. So do I regret any of that? No. I get a chance to live that dream now from the things that I do now. Now I get a chance to connect with those people. And in the end, I am proud. I am proud of the choices in the past that I made, because they were responsible choices and mature choices for me to be a better person, a better man within, so I can be able to do all these things on the outside and celebrate it and be able to stand up and be there with my kids and be there with my wife and be there in my community. Yep, I'm glad of that right there. So breaking that cycle, I'm proud. But if it wasn't for the Warrior Mindset 12 steps that I teach, in our Warrior Mindset course, and the Warrior Mindset 12 traditions, things that really defined me and allowed me to, grow when I didn't have the power to grow, and recognize my own immaturities and my own egotistical things, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So those are the things that I want to teach to people. Those are the things that if we can instill inside ourselves, we don't ever have to block our students' shine. We can give them the tools to recognize that even with me being human, and I'm going to fall short because I'm a human being, I want you to have the courage to be able to stand up, respectfully tell me that I'm wrong. And if I don't listen, or if I'm not, allowing my ego to get out the way, go on and do what you have to do to achieve your goals. Because we all win. But if you stay stuck, and I teach you how to stay with me and hold on to me and believe that you can't do it without me, that's not a good teacher. That's not a good parent. I want you to be great. I want you to achieve better things than what I have. I mean, the bar is high. When you get 50, 56, you'll be able to continue to do what I'm doing right now. You'll continue to learn how to be down in your basement and take the time of the corona and flip it to figure out what can you do to go down inside yourself and come up with creative solutions to empower and help other people. That's what it's all about. So we constantly keep on raising the bar. That's it. If I would look at any of it and look at any disappointment I might have, I just wish that all those people that we have influenced and touched and taught, and now they're able to stand up and be leaders in Hollywood and in other areas of the world. Give back to the foundation that you came from. As I came home from jail and I went back to Baltimore and gave back to McKim's, and I still shout from the rooftop about what McKim's did to me, and still have that connection. And even after getting past the immaturity and the negative situations that me and my instructor and other people have went through that, didn't support me on that journey, I was able to forgive them and go back and still work with them. I'm trying to continue to carry the torch for the foundation that I come from. And I hope that can set the example for all the people that they influence, and it can make some kid in Lafayette projects and at McKim say, man, if Willie Bam did that and he went to jail, I ain't got to go to jail and I can do more than what Willie Bam did. Or, somebody that comes up with Master Brown or any of those people can say, man, if he did it and he went down that low, if I don't go down that low, imagine what I can accomplish. Man, that's an example for me. Let me just keep on pushing and follow some of the things he did and do what they telling me to do, because I know I can do it. He did it. So that's what I say to the people that we have taught. Come back. Get back to the school. Get back to the foundation. Get back to the students. We all together created a roadmap that was not built before you came about. Maybe I was, so confident. Maybe because I'm so determined. You can't tell when I don't know, even though I'm moving and I don't know. You can't tell that I'm fearful when I am fearful. You can't tell that, I'm about ready to quit even when I'm moving forward because things are so overwhelming. You can't tell, when I'm just having so much doubt. Maybe you can't tell that I didn't know what I was doing. Everything was based upon the faith in God, but that whole path that I was able to create since 1989 up to now was a blueprint that was laid out that was not there before me. It wasn't there for me to follow. We put it all together. But we didn't put it all together so you can travel the path and cross the bridge and go on and do your own thing, because God didn't make us that way. God made it possible for you to be successful along that path. Give credit back to the foundation that you came from, not me the man, the foundation that you came from, and be able to pass it on to the next generation. Pass it on to all the other students that are coming up. The most unsatisfying thing that you can ever, I know, and I'm speaking from experience, that I could ever feel was when I was locked up, knowing that I came up in McKim's, I came up with Master Brown, and I came up with so many people, Garcia Davis, Kenneth Parker, all these people, man, that helped me when I had no confidence, I had no connection, no opportunity. All I could do was ask people, and people listened, and people gave me an opportunity. And those opportunities led to other opportunities. Those opportunities led to me getting to where I'm at right now. Isaac Flowertein, Pat Johnson, Colin West, everybody that helped me. Wesley Snipes, Billy Blanks. The list goes on and on. Byron Menz, Michael J. White. It's my duty, and it's your duty. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but it's your duty to give back. You can't just leave that foundation like you never was there. You can't not talk. That's why we talk. Master Brown always said the school is more important. The system and concepts that built us up and allowed us to grow is more important than me. So it's important that you give back and let the world know about that foundation. Let the students know that this foundation worked by just mentioning it, by just giving credit to it. Just carry on the legacy. Ain't about me. It's bigger than me. And if it wasn't for that legacy that I realized I had to, in my own soul, structure, because I didn't want to carry on the insanity that I came up in. I had to break that cycle by creating a path that allowed us all to grow up and become better attitude makers, leaders from the inside out, based upon the complete martial artist concepts, the development of mind, body, and spirit of a champion that freed you to become independent and stand on your own and go out and do remarkable things. Remember what it was like for all of you when you was a kid. And I took the time to work with you, or Miss Kimber took the time to work with you, and we believed in you, and we pushed you right along, and we did whatever we can do with your parents to make sure that you never had any disappointments. If you could ever think, and if you think back, you send me a letter or email if you see this. If we ever did anything that made you feel like you were like a bad person, no good, tell me. And if I did, forgive me for that. It wasn't my intentions. But for the love and everything that we wanted to do to help you be the best person that you could possibly be, do not walk away and not give it back to the next generation. Do not walk away and not let people know the foundation that you came from is that same foundation that came from the streets of Baltimore, that came through this whole foundation that we still represent and teach from. So that's the only thing I ask. That's the only disappointment I have. You know what I'm saying? Celebrate the legacy. You know what I'm saying? You stand on the shoulders of giants. You stand on a foundation that you know work. A foundation that came from that city of Baltimore through McKim's Community Center to China, and still to this day where it's at right now. So, but am I grateful? Am I seeing and reminded that God is remarkable? God took a kid 6 years old, inspired by Bruce Lee, in the inner city of Baltimore, going through everything you can possibly imagine, going to China, teaching in China, being influenced by China, and then going to jail and making a commitment to God, and then one day being able to see all this manifest, a whole vision, path, dream laid out in a jail cell by yourself when you creatively surrendered and asked God to guide you and give you the tools you needed to empower another generation of youth. So am I proud to see my students doing all what they do? Hey, man. I couldn't ask for no more. I never had this in my plan. This was not a part of the plan. I was just trying to keep the school open and teach kids, make them help them get their black belts, and once again make sure they become better individuals than what I was by having better opportunities than what I had. There's no comparisons there because I don't like to do that, but just to help them have the tools to go on and be all they can possibly be and what they are right now. And for that, I love all of you, and I am grateful for you. And I say, even from Miss Kimber, my wife, we are so proud of you. Continue to go forward and be an inspiration for all people, because we don't have to market and promote who we are. Your example show who you are. Just now, come back and give it back. In order to keep what you have, you got to give it away.